Mavachim Habaim, welcome back to Kehilat Musar, the Musar community at the Institute for Holiness, Machon LeKedusha. I am Rabbi Chasio Uriel Steinbauer, Ani Rabbi Chasio Uriel Steinbauer. And where have we been during the month of Cheshvan? We're taking a much needed break, a hafsakah, in order to heal and to have moments of silence, to recenter ourselves, and to prepare essentially for a whole bunch of new Musar groups forming, and to prepare for the year. We're actually entering Stav, entering fall and the winter, and we need that month of Cheshvan as a break. Particularly rabbis, from after the high holiday season to right before Kislev, which we're in now, Chodesh Tov. Welcome to the new month, the Hebrew month of Kislev, where we rededicate ourselves. We're going to be entering Chanukah on the 25th, and it is all about rededication, dedication. And in our case, we must rededicate our practice. So much has happened during the month of Cheshvan and even this first week of Kislev in the world. So first, I want to wish you peace and well-being. I want you to take a deep breath and come into this moment with me. We're going to look at prayer as a Musar practice, tefillah. Now, if you're someone that's not used to praying, I encourage you to open up and allow yourself to be vulnerable and to try this, to speak to God if you have a relationship with God. If you don't, to speak to the universe, to speak to that which is holy and good and pure, to open your heart. And for those of us who do have a prayer practice, it's about really refining to looking at how we can do this practice better. So first, let's look at a few things I want to say about prayer and why I'm even bringing this up. So when I decided to take the month of Cheshvan as a serious internal break and go through days of silent meditation, it was to recenter how am I going to take care of myself so I can serve God and others. There's so much internal brutality that especially happened in the United States and still continues. And as a former resident of the United States, I now live in Israel, but I'm still a citizen of the United States. It pains me to watch what's happening. So a number of students of Musar approached me and said, how can we engage in a practice of mindfulness to admit that there's despair there? And there's despair even if you support Biden and you are happy that he won, there's still despair for that side. And they're wondering why. Why is there still despair there? Well, there's many reasons why. One of it being that we probably really haven't tapped into it and admitted that it's there and welcomed it, said hello. And for the other side, if there is another side, meaning there's more than two, but the side that supports Trump, there's also despair. And despair in different ways. So wherever you stand on the political spectrum, this is going to be a Kabbalah, a practice that we engage in Musar, to kind of really tap into and admit that the despair is there, and to allow ourselves to feel it and to recognize it with mindfulness, and to move it, because so much of despair is about anger and fear and frustration and sadness stuffed and held. Okay? So let's go through some learning first. Okay. Just to say outright that if you, before we engage in this practice, if you are someone who has had any mental illness or trauma in the past 6 months, don't engage in this. This is not right for you right now. So I say that first. So within Musar, we know that every person needs to find the stratagems that can work for her or him, which will inevitably depend on our own nature, our own temperament and character, and our midot, our soul traits. So we take on specific assignments, kabbalot, to look at our particular moral situation. So today we will be engaging in the moral situation of despair. And before I jump into that, I'm trying to find my words on tefillah, on prayer. Okay, so as I said, sharing one's words with God, or whatever we have a relationship with, the divine, Mother Nature, it can be a powerful Musar practice. And it's very moral work that when we address God with our own words. And so Rabbi Simcha Zisselsiv of the Kelm School of Musar really felt that prayer is Musar, and it's disciplining the heart to serve God. So we really do depend on God, and especially during these moments. And so basically the Jewish liturgy focuses on God's hope for the world, and our prayer helps to reorient our vision by basically teaching us to see the world from God's perspective. And it really combats our tendency to focus on our own interest. It gets us out of ourselves, which is so key to what we need to do right now. So a big part of prayer can also facilitate visualizations and incorporate melodies that arouse emotions, about sending messages in from whatever the message is in the tefillah, in the prayer, and also to move what is still and a kind of stuck stillness, not a good stillness. It was taught in the Kelm School of Musar that a student should lengthen her or his prayers and prayer contemplatively in the way of Musar, so the ears actually hear what the mouth is saying, the body feels the melody, your heart actually can feel it, and it enters. And that that we labor for the possibility that it make an impression on us. So this is coming from a particular sefer called Kitvei HaSaba Mikelm, Pinchas HaKabbalot. And we also look at prayer as Musar practice that helps us to become more grateful, clear-minded, and more compassionate people. So what are we going to engage in right now? We're going to pray Adon Olam, and I'm going to attempt to pull up the words and also translate them into English. If you don't know these words, meaning you've never prayed this before, so do take a time, I'll be sure to attach it, to read these words and understand what you're saying. I do believe it's important that people understand what they're saying. And for us, it's about more getting into the deep sadness of how we're going to sing it, chant it, and let it make an impression inside. So we're going to sing Adon Olam, and it's not your traditional happy Ashkenazic version. We need to tap into a Sephardic version that is part of my tradition, and to go as slowly and deeply as possible. So you can sing with me, you can do your own prayer singing, and we'll come out of this together and do a round of gratitude. What does that mean? We'll awaken to the good and give thanks, because we've now allowed the release of the despair after this practice. We're ready to awaken to the good. Give thanks because we've moved some of that stuck frustration, fear, sadness, terror, anger. We cannot move to reconciliation and peace within and among each other if we don't practice mindfulness of what's really going on inside and moving it. So let's begin together. If you have a Siddur, a Jewish prayer book, you're welcome to open it. I will include it also, as I said, a link to the podcast and also the blog. And I get on Facebook once this posts. Hello, welcome. I'll put it in the words in the comments till I can get more savvy and actually have it up while I'm recording this. So thank you for joining. Allow yourself to sit. Some are safe and comfortable where you can be alone. And you want to be rooted. That's very important in a mindfulness practice. We do this in mindfulness meditation. That 3 things: that you're grounded on your feet, that you can feel your feet on the ground, to know that you're here. Your hand on your chest, to also know that you're here. And breath. Be in touch with your breath. Why is this important? Because sometimes when we're doing this practice to move despair, our mind can take us somewhere not here. So you want to be grounded. So I want you to sit with your feet on the ground and your hand on your chest and paying attention to your breath right now. Okay? Beterem kol natsir nivra nasa Azai melech shemo nikra ve'acharei chilot hakol Levado limno nora hu chaya vehu chovei vehu Betifara Hu Echad Ve'en Sheni bli reshit, bli taklit, velo haoz lecha Yisrael. Vechu Eli Vechagoali Vesochel li Betzara Vechu Nisi Umanos li Manat kosi veyom ekra beyado avkiruchi Ve'tishan ve'ayira Imruchi Geviyati. Allow any tears to come before we finish. Allow you to breathe. Allow it to move out with your breath. Imatafila, Anishima, Vifrimet and Neshama, the breath and the soul. Adonai li. Take the breath. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, dai. Yai, dai, dai, dai. Move the despair. Let it go. We are together. We're letting it move. We're recognizing it with mindfulness. We're saying, hello. Hello, despair. I know you're there. You can move. You can sit right next to me. It's okay to be with me. Don't wish it away. Don't wish it away. Don't look at it like it's forever. We'll spend 1 minute in silence. If there's any tears, let them come. Grounded in your feet, you are here. Grounded in your soul, in your chest and your heart. grounded in your breath. Awaken to the good and give thanks. Immediately look around you. Immediately feel. Immediately think embodied. What is good before you? Is it that you're breathing? Do you have your health? Do you have a roof over your head? Is there someone beloved nearby or will be coming home soon? Is your belly full? Did you have nutritious food today? Are you loved? Do you love something? One thing. Journal about it when we are done today. Write awaken to the good and give thanks. Let us know what is the one thing that you have awoken, come to. שאתם מתעוררים על מה טוב בשבילנו. What is good? Let us know in the comments. Send us an email at kahilatmusar@gmail.com. Feel free to let us know how this practice impacted you, if you want more, and to be in touch to join a Musar group to engage in practices like these called Kabbalot as part of our daily Musar practice. Thank you for joining today.